Jerry Willis. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Seeley, Sarah Atkinson, Pat Beckett,
Here.
Kayla Bullis,
Here.
Will Rolke,
Here.
Larry Rohr,
Here.
Mike Tiedemann.
Here. Motion to adopt the agenda. Motion to adopt the agenda. Second. Motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Agenda is adopted. Minutes from the meeting from May 19th. Motion to adopt the minutes from Monday, May 19th, 2025. Second. Motion and second to adopt the May 19th minutes, discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Visitors. Next committee or reports? The Parks Committee met tonight to decide on a new name for the ball field complex. We reviewed the names and we picked out two of them, and we will have the council decide at our next meeting of the two we decided on. Okay. Any other committee or report? Thanks, Mike. Department heads or a city administration report? Record pace. Old business, second reading and adoption of ordinance 2025-06, supplementing the FY 2025 appropriations.
So this would be the second reading and where we would vote to adopt it or not. It's just giving me permission to adjust the 2025 budget.
And I think this is basically having officially accepting the grant money.
Yep, taking the money into consideration of it coming in and going out.
Okay. Motion to adopt the second reading.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the ordinance 2025-06, supplementing the 2025 appropriations.
Motion and second, the adoption of ordinance 2025-06. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 2025-06 is approved. Item 9, new business, reviewing bids for hay ground mowing.
We took this out of the contract, the lease agreement that we've had on the city farm ground up there for quite a few years, just because we had some changes up there with things, the new Sager system and things, and a lot of other stuff that's been kind of tore up a little bit. So we thought it'd be a good time to take it out. So we did have some interest in it, which is good.
Are you ready to read the bids?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is from Pete Ballberg. And it is for $375. The next one is from Curtis Jensen for $666. Third one is from Joe Knudsen for $550. And the last one is from Riley Johnson for $400. So it appears that Curtis Jensen has the highest.
Is there anything among the bidders that would something to be considered along with the pay itself?
Well, I think usually they get with just one cutting out there. Last year, that's all they got, so.
There's just a potential for more than one, or?
I think there could be, but there isn't much value to the second cutting is what I was told, so. At least that came from Curtis when I talked to him about removing it from the lease, so.
And Curtis is the one that
Yeah.
that has been doing it.
Yeah.
Should we have a motion to accept
Yes.
bid? Okay, motion to accept what would be the Curtis Jensen, the high bid at
66.
666. So moved.
Second.
Motion is second to accept the hay ground mowing bid of 666 from Curtis Jensen. Any discussion? Is there any significance in that number? 2/3 of 1,000.
Well, and I'm sure hoping that $666, because there's no decimal point, there's no. Dollar sign is just, yeah,
Okay.
I'm interpreting is 600.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bid is accepted. Curtis Jensen, $666 hay ground mowing. Next item under new business surplus, the 1990 Chevrolet Kodiak truck with plow for sale at auction.
You guys should have a picture of it there. This is a diesel plow truck, and when we bought the used one to replace it, then I figured we might as well get rid of this one and get it out of the storage lot where it's at now and make room for the other stuff that we have. So I just need a motion. If you guys are okay, we'll go ahead and surplus that for sale on Purple Wave. Just a little update on Purple Wave. What did we end up collecting on the?
32,000?
Just about 32,000 on the items we sold previously. So we got this one in. They didn't get a truck for some reason, wasn't listed on the Purple Wave, or we've got a dual axle orange one just like that. That's probably in probably worse shape than that, but we're gonna put that one back on the auction. They missed it or something last time, so. So we'll have two items going on, most likely about a month and a half. So they'll put it on. We usually get it there and they'll take some pictures of it and then they'll put it on there, and about a month after they post it, then that's when the auction will be up. So what's nice about Purple Wave is we get what is bid. We don't pay any fees. They collect 10% on top of everything that we would collect, so.
And then they collect the money, make sure the check clears, and then they send us a check.
Really works pretty
Oh,
good.
it's so easy.
Yeah. I know since we've been doing this, we've brought in so much more money on these vehicles that we think aren't worth a whole lot, but there's a lot of people that look at that stuff and the pricing is just through the roof. One of those tractors, I think we didn't pay $6,000 or $7,000 for $10,000. Wow. It's no case tractor. Yeah.
Motion to approve the sale on Purple Wave of the 1990 Chevrolet Kodiak truck with plow.
Make a motion to surplus the 1990 Chevrolet Kodiak truck with plow for sale. Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved for sale on Purple Wave, the 1990 Chevrolet. Next item under new business, pay request number 3 from First Rate Excavation on the 7th Street Utility Extension, the amount of $121,496 and 36 cents.
I'll just give a quick update while we're talking about it.
Please.
So they were back today. They weren't there for the last couple of weeks because it was so wet in there that they couldn't even get in. I mean, I drove my truck in there and about got stuck here last week. So I definitely wouldn't want to be in there with any bigger equipment. So all they would have done was make a mess, but they were there today. They pretty much started leveling everything off, got all the excess dirt out of there. Next step will be to bring in the finished work dirt guys, do the road and get everything seeded back, black dirt put in, then they'll seed it and then they'll pretty much be out of there. So wrapping that one up pretty quickly.
So the seating will be on the side. The roadbed itself, south of the new shop, will be.
There will be gravel.
Okay.
For a portion of it, and down around Eli's house and that little spot, there'll be some pavement, and there'll be pavement actually coming in from the I'm gonna say where the lift station was at the event center,
Okay.
all the way back to pretty much back on the south side of the new maintenance building. So that'll all be or paved.
Which is all kind of the tail end of
Yep.
this bid project.
Then we don't want people driving back and forth on that gravel road. It's really not made for traffic. It's mainly just for us to get our equipment back and forth, so that'll be we'll have some road closed signs except for service vehicles basically, which would be us, city.
On this particular payment and so forth, on the overall budget of that project, this is included in that budget for the project.
Yes, yeah.
And it's pretty, are they on track pretty well?
Yeah, I think so. There's still 300,000 that they're owed, but they're getting there. For the $658,000 project and just we still have about $1,000 to finish it off, but
Okay.
those will be coming in quickly now.
Make a motion for pay requests is number 3 to First Rate Excavate Incorporated for the amount of $121,496.36.
Second.
Motion and a second on pay request number 3 to First Rate. Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pay request number 3 is approved. Pay request number 1 from Merle and Royce Paving Incorporated for ball field parking lot paving in the amount of $121,848.25. It looks good.
Yeah, I think it served its purpose. I think getting the lines out there and getting the handicap spots all set up helps a bunch. I did see there were quite a few people using the handicap spots, so that was good. There are 5 of them out there, so if you go out, it's all based on the total size and volume of the parking lot, how many they have to have for that use. And the backfill is done. They still have to come down and seed it, so that's the last thing to do.
And Merle and Royce is.
Yeah, Merle and Royce, they did all the backfilling. They'll hire someone else to do the seeding work,
Yeah.
so we're just waiting on them people to come in.
I haven't been there during a ball game. I think I counted somewhere around upper 90s or near 100 places that are striped.
Yeah, I think there's 108 total.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they were, Saturday, they had a big tournament a couple weeks ago, and I was, yes, all but 2 or 3 of them were full.
Yeah.
So,
Last Saturday was the there was a tournament there last Saturday and the Saturday before, but wasn't paved yet.
yeah.
Okay. Motion on the pay request?
Make a motion for pay request number 1 from Merle and Royce Paving Incorporated in the amount of $121,848.25.
Motion and a second on the pay request number 1 to Merle and Royce. On target as far as the budget, that what had been budgeted for that project?
Yeah. Well, then we've had one small changeover, and that was to do the dirt work.
Okay.
To do the seeding, so.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pay request number 1, Merle and Royce is approved. Pay request number 1 from Metro Construction Incorporated for the Bach Residential Housing Project, $802,032.96. Yeah, a little background on what this
Yeah,
encompasses.
that's their first draw, so that's gonna be a very large one, and we're working through to get the grant, and we'll use some TIF funds. So we'll submit all the paperwork to get the grant, but they're only gonna they do about a third of it, and we'll have to borrow the rest of it. They're not gonna give us all the grant funds up front. So it'll be a little over $1 million when the grant funds are all in, then the TIF will pay for the rest of it. So I'll be doing some advances with First Dakota to cover the rest of those costs. And they're aware, but we told them we probably won't get the money in for maybe a week or so, because we want to get the grant money in before we make their payments to them, so.
And I submitted the paperwork already.
Last week, but yeah, I already did all that, so it's a matter of that. As far as, again, there wasn't a whole lot of work that went on last week out there or the week before, because there was just 2 left. All they're doing right now is doing the box culverts, putting the culverts in. There's a lot of concrete, hand forming that, and then they put the pipe, the bigger pipe, that if you go out there and look at that, you can still see a lot of that above ground. So they put in the culvert sections, the drain where they're all drains, and then they hook everything else into that. So that's all they're working on right now. I did have some interest from a party that was interested in purchasing 2 lots. I said, we're gonna have to wait a little bit, because we don't know what the cost is gonna be. We'll know that a little closer to when we get ready to finish paying for the project, so. But there is definitely some interest. I've had a few other people call, so. So the quicker we sell them, the faster we pay it off. And the quicker they start.
Late August, September, possibly be able to.
Yeah, they moved it to November. We had a little bit of a change there.
Okay.
Some of the stuff that we talked about behind Lonnie's and Dale's there, or Brian's. So there'll be a few little things there, but they added 14 days for that extra work to get the pipe and stuff, but.
Yeah.
They're obviously, these guys want to get out of there just as fast as they can to go on to another
But that
job.
wouldn't hold up the contractor from accessing elsewhere, would it?
No,
So when could they potentially start buying?
not until, well, not until we have curb and gutter and streets.
Okay.
Yeah. We did it on, the first development, out there at the bridges and not fun, but we didn't have did we have gravel on there, Tom, when you started building? We didn't have the gravel or any of that, and it was a pain in the butt to try to set elevations based on a curve that's not even there yet, so that engineers would have to come down and mark all this for them. Not fun.
Okay.
But potentially buy a lot over the winter and
Yep.
build in the spring.
Yep.
Excellent. And this project amount from the work done, we're pretty much on track, is it?
I think so. I mean, first draw, we got a 1.5 million left to pay, so 800,000 on a $2.35 million project. Yeah. Yeah, about a third.
Motion on pay request for Metro.
I'll make a motion to approve pay estimate, for pay request number 1 for Metro, the Bach Housing Development.
Motion and a second on the pay request to Metro Construction for $802.32.96. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pay request number 1 to Metro is approved. Pay request number 15 from Site Works Incorporated for wastewater treatment facility improvements. The amount of $197,415.78.
This is the project. If you guys go up and drive around up there, you don't see much for the total cost of $6.8 million. Everything's pretty much underground, but all you're gonna see is a couple buildings out there. One house is a couple big fans that aerate the 4 Sager systems, and a little hut in front, which is a sampling hut. That's what you see when you first drive up that way. So I think looks like most, I'm surprised we still have 407,000 to pay, but probably holding back. Oh, what's that? Yeah, we got 345,000 of us in retainage, so we'll hold and start paying that as they finish up the last few items that they have on there. As of today, according to Pat's report, they were supposed to be filling the Sagers, they're supposed to have water passing through them, so we will see. It's taken longer than what it was supposed to be May 5th, I think, is what we originally talked about, operating and getting it up and running, but there must have been some holdback there. But
I spoke with Keith, early afternoon, and he said it's 100% running.
It is, okay, so there we go. So we should see water come out the other end.
Yep.
Good. If you're fishing the Vermilion River, Lion Creek goes into the Vermilion River, so you should have some water coming into the Vermilion River. So
High quality H2O.
that's good quality H2O right there.
Peak of shame.
No. Make sure of that, but spending $6.85 million. Equal Shiner, still there.
Do we have a motion on pay request 15?
Make a motion to pay request number 7 from Gil Hogan Construction.
Oh, this,
Or no, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Pay request number 15 from Site Works Incorporated for wastewater treatment facility improvements for $197,415.78.
Motion and a second on pay request number 15 to Site Works. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pay request number 15 from Site Works is approved. Next item is pay request number 7, Gil Haugen Construction for Bridges Patio Addition, the amount of $63,305.82.
We do not have our engineer or the architect sign on this yet. We've, I don't know if Keith's been out of the office, or what, but, we won't send the check until he signs off on that, so. We're assuming everything's okay. I don't know, he did send it to me, so I'm assuming everything was okay, but he did not sign yet, so. But we will hold off on that. One thing I think everything's going pretty good. I mean, those of you that have been out there, you've had a chance to look at it. I think it looks awesome, so. And it sounds like the people that will be using it are gonna really like it. I know we do have some furniture ordered, Glenn. When did we order that last week, right?
Still in the process.
Oh, it's still processing.
Yeah.
They haven't shipped it yet. Okay. Now, so there's, I think, seating up to 56 people. Does that sound about right?
58.
58. Okay, so we got some high tops, some low tops, some 4 persons, some six
Six.
people. I know Mike had a chance to look at it with some of the group, and I think it looks really good. I think it does. So I think that'll be a good addition out there. Just a couple other things out there as far as the concrete around it. I believe they were out finishing up putting the gravel down to lay the concrete today. That should have all been done. And if we don't get a bunch of rain, then they're gonna be pouring the rest of that for the paved area for parking all the carts. We'll see how much it rains tonight. It may delay it again. That's kind of where we were at the last couple of weeks again out there was just, we couldn't get back in there and muck anything out because it was too muddy. So they've got that pretty much done today. These guys, Haugen did some damage to our irrigation system. There's 3 zones that aren't working right now, so as part of the contract, they're supposed to fix whatever they broke. So that will be taken care of and addressed before we make any final payments to them. It's not right to make our guys have to fix something that that they didn't cause any of the issues. So we'll take care of that. And that'll be on them guys to fix that. So that's about all we got on that. Looking good.
Are those zones that were damaged, are they around the clubhouse area or does it
Yeah.
extend out?
Yeah, anywhere, pretty much everywhere where they're driving the big trucks in and out of there. The whole area has to be reseeded and relayed, all that stuff. So, we're taking a lot of it, put concrete down for parking, but
Correct.
any of that other stuff coming in, they drove over quite a few different zones. With all that big heavy equipment, and they basically broke them. But when I talked to them a long time ago, they said that they'd be fixing them, so. Just want to confirm today, that's in the contract, so they are supposed to fix them.
I guess it would be critical if one of those zones was that practice green area. Those can be pretty sensitive to
Yeah,
getting regular moisture. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's one of
that's
them.
not one of them. These are
Okay.
tied into a total different system, actually. I think we feed it with the same water. It's just, it's its own zone coming off of that same irrigation, our wells out there, so.
Okay,
What was that number? 6. You found it a few times, Tom?
No, never.
6.
and the furniture's been ordered. It's just processing that order and the shipment.
It has not been ordered yet. I think Ben is just making sure that the size, the tables and everything
Okay.
fits where it needs to fit.
Okay.
It takes like 3 to 5 days to ship.
Really? Okay. Do we have a motion on pay request number 7?
Motion for pay request number 7 to Gil Haugen in the amount of $63,305.82.
A second.
Motion and a second on pay request number 7 to Gilhogan Construction. Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pay request number 7 to Gilhogan is approved. That's a lot of money. At the same time,
Projects.
it's a lot of projects. I know have been planned for a long time. We've had change orders on a couple of them, several because of things along the way with the patio, but outside of that, those projects budget wise are
Pretty close, yeah.
okay.
We're not,
All right.
we're not gonna hit too hard. We got the cured in place concrete. If you see these trucks driving around town with lights flashing, they're gonna have one on probably one block, one at another block. They're basically televising everything. So that when they go to put the sock inside and heat it up, and that makes that new liner in there, so they know where all the existing service lines are. So every service line that goes up and down the street is gonna be cut out with a machine that they basically put in there. So they're gonna be able to identify exactly where that is when they go to cut those out, so. Am I right on that, Pat? You guys do a lot of that stuff
We've
too?
done a couple, yeah.
It's amazing how it works.
Next item under new business is step pay increase for Connor Boom to 2482, effective June 11th.
Make a motion for Connor Boom, step pay increase, June 11th to $24.82 per hour.
Second.
Motion and a second on the step pay increase for Connor Boom. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Step pay increase is approved. Next item under new business is step pay increase for Rachel Johnson to $23.06 effective June 6th.
We'll make a motion for the step pay increase from $223.06 an hour, for Rachel Johnson.
Motion and a second on the step pay increase for Rachel Johnson. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Step pay increase approved. Next item under new business, swimming pool concession stand lease agreement.
Elaine was able to talk to Ben and he agreed to do it again this year. Thank you for doing that, Elaine. It's been a real struggle every year trying to find someone to do that for us. So, we give him a pretty good deal. I think we actually even take care of paying some. Well, he don't need it, does he? He's got his own sort of insurance, liability insurance. In the past, we've even done that for people so that we can just get somebody in there. So this relieves the city of any of the responsibilities of trying to operate a concession stand and find people and get all the stock, all the stuff in there. So just need a motion to authorize the mayor to, or well,
President.
the council president to sign, yeah. At least agreement with Ben.
Motion to approve concession stand lease agreement.
I'll make the motion that we approve the swimming pool concession stand lease agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the swimming pool concession stand lease agreement. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Swimming pool concession stand lease agreement is approved. Final item under new business, volunteers to recognize and include in the minutes, including Eric and Patricia Gade, Crystal Barnes, and Serena Anderson.
I think you guys recognize Crystal and Serena are the gals that were in and talked about spinning of the downtown areas, kind of what they wanted to focus on to begin with, and they have done that. I think I know they worked down at the library a little bit the other day. Or were they the ones that did the work out in the park there? Do you know? There's some work that was done out there too. So we really appreciate them getting in and looking at some of them landscape gardens, because that is it is very difficult for us to find people, especially high school kids that like to do that kind of work. So now, so we've got those two gals that are working, and Eric and Patricia, I think they moved here from California and just kind of found a spot on the map and said this is where they wanted to go, and now they want to volunteer some time and help out. So the reason we need to recognize them in the minutes, obviously thank them for what they do, but at the same time, if there's any workers' comp issues that happen while they're out working on our property, that we would have coverage for that.
So recognized.
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion or anything. We just want to spread it in the minutes that we did that.
So thanks, Eric, Patricia, Crystal, and Serena. Thank you much. Discussion and information items. We have a letter to open negotiations with Teamsters Local number 120.
That's just the police officer's contract. You recall a couple of years ago, they split off from the electrical workers, so we've got two contracts that basically mirror one another. There are some slight differences, but this will just cover the four police officers. Chief is not part of the bargaining. So
I have been working with the Teamsters on health insurance proposal too.
Good.
It's going slow.
it's slowly working.
Well, good thing you started already.
Right.
The last item under discussion and information is a special council meeting at 5:30 on Wednesday, June 4th to canvass election results. What election, you ask? That for those of you who watch this online early, Tuesday, June 3rd, special election. An ordinance amending the Beresford zoning ordinance to rezone lots 10, 11, 12 and block 24. Kitty corner to the north, to the southeast from the elementary school. A vote yes will change the city ordinance and rezone the property. A vote no will leave the city ordinance and keep the property zoned as single family. And that is open to everyone in the city. And the voting location will be at the library from 7 a to 7 p. Tomorrow or Tuesday, June 3rd.
Please vote.
So discussed and informed. No travel approvals. Item 12, payment of the bills.
Make a motion that we pay the bills.
Second.
Motion and a second to pay the bills. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The bills are paid. Any other business for the council? Meeting's adjourned.
Feel like it's a gold star.